Single leg deadlift technique. This exercise is great for working on stability through the hips, the shoulders, great balance work and working on foot strength. But in particular, it's really good on getting into the glute. So from what I've been taught, when you do exercises where it requires you to do something with a single leg, in particular in a standing position, your glute is going to act as a stabilizer. So if it's going to act as a stabilizer, the hope is that you're going to get great activation with it. So with that being said, let's cover the single leg deadlift. So the tricky part with single leg deadlift is almost practicing without weight. Weight can act as a bit of a tool to help you with your balance. I'll go over the technique. One of the things we sort of talk about, or from what I've been taught, is the train tracking of your feet. This train track line will be a little bit narrower, I would suggest, than sort of maybe hip width distance. Okay, trying to keep my feet active as well. With that train track line, I'm going to hinge on my right leg to start off with. I'm going to slide my left leg back, and my job is to keep my shoulders nice and square and keep my body nice and long so there's no breaks through the hip or legs or through the upper region. What I try and explain to clients is you want to visualize, you really need to create this picture of keeping a straight line going from your ear, shoulder, hip, knee into ankle. You don't want to break that line. So I'll show you what it looks like. It might not even be quite what I'm talking about, because sometimes some of these exercises will need some correction from someone else. Like even if you've been doing a kettlebell swing or a squat for a while, I would say there's always room for improvement, okay? From here, I'm sliding my left leg back, all right? I'm pulling through that heel, and I'm trying to keep my hips nice and square. There's going to be some knee bend, but in particular, I'm trying to reach my hip back. I'm also trying to point this toe towards the ground, and then I'm coming back up. So again, as I said, it's quite hard almost doing it without weight. One of the other cues that I've been taught is try and keep your heel and big toe nice and strong. So I'm talking about my right foot at the moment because that's the foot I'm stabilizing on. I should say, I'm trying to pull my shoulders away from my ears a little bit. So I'll show you again. I'm just trying to pack my lats just a little bit because I feel like it's going to help reiterate that strong spinal position. There doesn't want to be any breaks through your back. Shoulders away from ears. Feet on, pulling through the heel of my rear leg, toes pointing towards the ground. I'm coming over to the depth that I feel like I can handle, and then I'm coming back up. So if I was to practice my reps, I'd say maybe 5 to 10 reps on each leg, but do one leg at a time. So as you can see, I'm practicing on my right leg at the moment. I'm not alternating. Okay, so let's try it with a kettlebell. So if I'm hinging back or having my left leg go back, I'm going to have a kettlebell in my left hand because this will demand some stabilization through the hip and the upper body region. So I'm going to pick up this 12 kilo. Again, shoulders away from ears. My feet are pretty close together, feet are active. Breathing in, I'm going to pull this heel back. Once again, I'm trying not to break through my spine. I guess I try to tell people to almost put the kettlebell next to your foot. Okay, and then I'm coming back up again. So I'm hoping that looks pretty good. If I haven't got that line, then sometimes you just need to either record yourself or have someone else watch you. Some things to look out for as you're hinging over. So pretend my leg's going back. I don't want this shoulder dropping in. So that's that cue of pulling your shoulders away from your ears and making sure that your upper body stays square. Some other things to consider. Remember that train tracking of the feet. What we do have occur with some people is I'll show you a couple of different things. They do this sort of stuff where their hips aren't square, or they start kicking this leg off to the side. Now this is an exaggeration, but I'm just trying to show you. You're trying to stay as square as you possibly can. So remember, I might not have this 100% right, but this is the picture that I'm trying to create in my mind. And that's really important when you're doing your stuff. This is why sometimes you need to switch that music off and just really, really concentrate. There is a lot going on with this exercise. And if you do it really well, I would say there's a lot of bang for your buck. So that's the single leg deadlift. It might be a good option for you to do it with 2 kettlebells. Now, you don't necessarily need kettlebells. You can have dumbbells or any sort of weight. 2 kettlebells will help you with your balance for the most. So I did it with a 12 kilo before, all right? Not too bad weight-wise. I've got 2 12s. Now, if you're a beginner to this and you want to balance out a bit more, I'm not saying grab the same weight and double it. You might need to say, if 12 kilos wasn't too bad, you're still struggling with your balance, you want to try double bell, then just grab 2 bells that are smaller, maybe 2 6s or 2 8s. Same principles apply though. I'm going to breathe in, reach back with that leg. I'm sort of putting that kettlebell down near my foot, pulling that hip back, chest is out, and then I'm coming back up again. I can already feel that. Full on exercise, great getting into the glutes. So that's the single leg deadlift. Remember 5 to 10 reps on each leg. I would say maybe 5 sets with a couple of minutes of break in between.